everybody. It has been too long since I've been able to catch up with you guys and make a video. I guess it hasn't been that long, but it feels kind of like a long time since I've been off the trail for a few weeks now, and I'm getting settled in my new place. So I apologize if it's like a little echoey and the sound quality is not that good. I'm hoping that'll change as I kind of get more furniture in here. Right now it's like I'm pretty much in an empty room with just a couch. In this video, I wanted to talk about my gear. So I thought that would be a good first video post-trail, since it's like super relevant. Like what I was carrying at the very end is different than what I was carrying at the very beginning. And I know quite a few of you are interested in that. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So I'll go over each item, how much it weighs, and I thought I would just like weigh it. I have this little scale and I thought I would just weigh it right here. Also, before I get started, I just want to continue to say thank you to all of you. And I've just gotten so much love and support and so many congratulations on finishing the trail. I'm still so ecstatic about being able to have done it, and I'm already eager to get back into the mountains and do some more hiking and backpacking. Okay, so let's get started with my backpack. So I finished off the trail carrying the Hyperlight Unbound 40. I really enjoyed using this pack. It's really, really durable. It fits so well. I really liked the sturdiness of the internal frame. It is a little heavier than the backpack I was carrying, which was the Z-Packs Arc Scout, but that one was really old and it was time to change it up. So I got this about the middle of the trail, and let's check to see how much it weighs. So completely empty, it weighs 2 pounds, pretty much 2 pounds exactly. The scale says 2.01 pounds. So that's pretty light considering it has an internal frame, and the Dyneema fabric is really durable. It's really waterproof. I used it without a rain cover quite a few times, and it was able to keep everything inside my pack dry. I didn't use a pack liner with this one, but I did use a rain cover. So maybe we'll do that next. Set this down right here next to me. Or actually, maybe I'm gonna try to do it in the order I would pack my backpack. So that way I can pack it as I talk about each item. Okay, so the first item I always pack is my sleeping system. I carried it in this little yellow bag the whole trail. In here is my quilt, my pillow, and pillowcase. So let's see how much this weighs all together. So 1 pound, 1.23 pounds. And let's change that to ounces. 19.7 ounces. So that's really good. I'm pretty sure that my quilt is just under 15 ounces. So that means the bag, the pillow, and the pillowcase. So I always use a pillowcase because I like to be able to wash this so that my face stays a little bit cleaner. It's a buff, and I just put it on the outside of the pillow like a pillowcase. It was always like a potential backup if I needed a buff to cover my face, but I didn't actually use this buff as a buff. I only used it as a pillowcase. The pillow that I carried was the Sea to Summit ultralight pillow. It's only a 20-degree bag. It's the Enlightened Equipment Enigma sleeping quilt. I think if I were to upgrade my bag, I would switch to a fully zipped sleeping bag, just because of how often I slept in shelters and how I liked to be fully enclosed. Because along with this, I use a Bivvy. So this is the Mountain Laurel Designs ultralight Bivvy, and I'll weigh this in just a sec. I'm gonna pack this up and put it in my backpack first. So this is going in, and the next thing that goes with my sleep system is my Bivvy. So I kept this the whole trail, even though it was primarily a winter thing, but basically it has a more durable bottom and a lighter top side. So I would lay this down and then put my sleeping quilt inside of it on nights that were cold or nights that I just wanted to feel more protected from the bugs and the critters or anything like that. I never fully enclosed myself in the Bivvy. If you guys don't know what a Bivvy is, it's kind of just like a replacement for a tent. And this was my first time ever using a Bivvy. I chose this because I paired it with my tarp instead of a tent. So let's weigh this and then I'll talk about my tarp next. I will say it did get like too hot at the end. Like I really wasn't using this that much because the nights were so warm that I was just hot. I was hot and my 20-degree quilt was too hot, and if I didn't have my pajamas, like I would have been very uncomfortable, but we'll talk about that in a bit. 6.4 ounces. So that's pretty light. Okay, the next thing that I usually pack is my tarp. So this is my tarp. It is so tiny, and that's exactly why I carried a tarp, because it's tiny and it's really light. It was definitely a sacrifice because it's uncomfortable in the sense that like bugs and dirt and critters and everything can get in at night. But I think it was really fun to challenge myself to try this out because I've never used a tarp before. I hadn't even set this tarp up before I started the Appalachian Trail. I have a tent that is almost identical to this, or like pretty similar, like Z-Pack's tent set up pretty similarly. So I was confident I would be able to set this up even though I hadn't tried setting it up until I was on the trail. This tarp weighs 5.7 ounces. So that is so light, and that's amazing. But along with this tarp, you have to use, believe it or not, these are tent stakes, even though you can't see through this bag because it's so like clogged with dirt. This is my tent stakes bag. It's just a Ziploc bag, and then I have 8 MSR mini groundhog steaks, 3.8 ounces. 9 ounces so far, 9 point something ounces. But then they also need these trekking poles. So I carried Black Diamond, I think they're carbon fiber trekking poles. I've had these since the PCT. They have the cork grip, and I use them for hiking, so they don't really count in my base weight, but sometimes I did carry them on my back when I wasn't in the mood to hike with trekking poles to get it. So these are 17.5 ounces. These also slide in right at the very bottom next to, like right above the Bivvy, and this kind of slides in. Okay, the next thing that I would put at the bottom of my backpack is usually my sleep clothes. So this isn't all sleep clothes, this is all the clothes that I hiked in. So this is my sleep clothes and my hiking clothes, just because I just have storage, like the clothes I wear, you know, on the trail are in this bag too. So let's just weigh this bag, even though it is over-representing how much I actually carried. So this is 40 ounces, right around 40 ounces. But there's like, let's see, I would wear a pair of socks. These, oh, actually I switched completely from Darn Toughs. I didn't wear Darn Toughs at all on the trail, and I switched to Farm to Feet. I really like Farm to Feet more than Darn Toughs now. So next I have my Outdoor Research Astroman hoodie, and I absolutely love this. absolutely love this. So I would wear that shirt every day, these socks every day, and then I started wearing these Brooks running shorts every day. And I would also wear Outdoor Research pants. I got them at a gear shop in Damascus, I think. And I like to wear the shorts underneath the pants. And I'll do another video where I go more in depth on my clothing system and actually all the gear systems, so you can kind of see why I did what I did with my clothing. These were usually on my body, so I'm not going to count these in my base weight. Okay, the rest of my clothes consist of these Patagonia Capilene ultralight base layer. I wore these as pajamas, like not every night, but most nights I would switch into those, especially if it was hot and my legs were really sticky and dirty. Again, it's hard for me to just give you an overview of my gear and not go in depth on each piece, because it's like, I would want to know, but I'll go in depth more in another video. I had 2 pairs of socks, another pair of Farm to Feet, and then I did carry an REI brand of wool socks, and I would sleep in these, and then I had this to switch out for my other pair of socks, like hiking socks. Then the cold gear in case it got cold. So here's my wool buff. It's Smart Wool brand. And I carried 2 pairs of gloves the whole trail. It was probably a little extra, but with the rain, I really don't like having cold hands. So I have a pair of wool gloves are by -33, and then a pair of like Gore-Tex overlayer rain gloves that are slightly warm. They have like a little bit of a microfiber fuzz on the inside while being Gore-Tex on the outside. Another one of my favorite pieces of gear is this Outdoor Research beanie. It looks and feels brand new, even though it's gone with me on all 6,000 of my through hiking miles. So I never leave on a trip without a beanie, especially because I like to pull it down when I wear it at night. I wear it every night and I pull it down over my eyes, and that just like helps me sleep so much more in case the moon is out, or in case ever anyone's like hiking at night and there could be flashlights in my eyes or whatever. This would help me stay sleeping. So that all would stay in my clothes bag, and then the other thing I have in my clothes bag right now is like a bunch of bandanas. So I got this bandana at the at Harper's Ferry, and more so just like as a sentimental bandana, because I didn't get a whole lot of like Appalachian Trail like gear swag. Then I have 2 small squares of a bandana, like 3 small squares of a bandana. I cut this bandana into 4s, took 2 pieces, and then this into 4s, and I took 1 piece. I would carry 1 in my fanny pack. This one would go in my cook pot, and I would always use this with my cook pot and my food. And then this one was an extra one for like rain and when this one got too dirty. The one in my fanny pack I would like use to blow my nose, and I would use to wipe up sweat. And then I actually got this from a trail angel named Mun, Hiker to Town and Hiker to Trail. I only used it once or twice, but it helped both times. So enjoyed carrying that, and plus it's like microfiber, so I did actually use it to dry off my stuff when I would get into camp late, or when I would get into camp soaking wet. I would use it to dry off everything. And then this is like a little stuff sack. I think it was my Enlightened Equipment sleeping bag stuff sack, but it's so big that my quilt can be stuffed smaller than this bag. So I use this bag for my clothes bag. Actually, I'll talk about one more piece of this mid layer. This ended up being like my pajama top. So I sent my pajama top that was like a black long sleeve home. And I switched to just wearing this at night when I needed a pajama top. and it is a Rab, I think it's some kind of like micro grid zip up. It's really light. It's a perfect little base layer. I found this at the NOC and I carried it the whole trail since then. And it would be a nice mid layer when it was really cold. I guess I can also talk about my main outer layer for warmth is this Arc'teryx Atom zip-up hoodie. It's pretty light, and I definitely don't think it's warm enough for the winter months without my layering system. So I would have my shirt, my hiking shirt, my sports bra on, hiking shirt, mid-layer, and this jacket, and then my rain jacket on the coldest days, and I was warm enough. So I think there was only one time when I wasn't warm enough and I ended up getting off trail and taking a 0 to let the weather warm up. And it was like freezing rain, so it was like wet and too cold. I think that was around mile 500, so go see that. Watch that video if you haven't seen that and you're wondering about it. I guess I forgot to have like underwear and bra in here, so I also carried kind of a lot of underwear and only one sports bra. So I'd wear this so it doesn't count on my face weight. It's also silly, like what counts and what doesn't count, but I don't know. And then one pair of underwear. But these are all my extra clothes except for rain gear and except for the clothes I had on my body during the day. So 42.2 ounces, which is 2.64 pounds. So this would go next. I would usually leave at least my jacket and depending, some of the clothing items I would leave loose and pack towards the top if I knew I was going to need them throughout the day. And so next, I used a Z-Packs food bag. So for the rest of my food system, I'd have my food bag and this titanium spoon with a soft mouthpiece. This is by Tokes. And I would keep it in a Ziploc bag. Then I would also use this Sawyer mesh baggie to hold my pot together because this is an MSR tea kettle. I really, really like this. It's so much bigger than some of the other pots that hikers carry, and I just like that I always had enough room for as much food as I wanted. Then I use the BSR mini stove and mini Bic lighter. So normally it comes with a canister in there, and that canister is at least 4 ounces, I think. But just as is, let's see how much this weighs. So my food system weighed 9.1 ounces. Okay, so this will go in next. Let's talk about my ditty bag. So my ditty bag is first aid, hygiene, and any other miscellaneous things. Lots of these things are consumables, so they might not count or whatever, but I carried this. I carried this the whole time, so let's just see. 8.7 ounces, so that's definitely not great, but it's not too bad either, I guess. Okay, next is my electronics bag. I carried the Petzl Actic Core headlamp. It has a rechargeable battery. I can actually get 3.2 ounces. Not bad. So this is standing in for my main box that plugs into the wall and my main cord. This is probably heavier, but it's a stand-in because I left my charger at my sister's house in Florida. So she needs to mail that to me. So the other things that actually I did carry is the rest of this. So I carried 2 phone cords that had a USB on one side, and then the other side was the lightning port that charges and plugs into my phone. I carried 2 of these, 1 corded headphones. I didn't use these all trail, but I had them in case my AirPods died or I lost them or something. And one cord that was USB on one side and USB-C on the other side, and then one cord that's USB and one side is micro USB. So I carried the Nicor Energy Brick NB10000. So this was 10,000 milliamps and very, very light. I'm actually interested in how much this weighs on its own, so let's weigh it like this. So with the Ziploc bag, this is 6.3 ounces, which is so light for a battery bank. So I really enjoyed having that one. I was carrying 2 earlier in the trail, but this is a video all about the gear that I ended with. So 13.5 ounces is roughly how much my electronics bag weighed. So put that in here. Okay, next let's talk about rain gear, because that was usually always towards the top. I carried this REI rain cover that actually came with a different bag of mine, but these are the Enlightened Equipment Versalite, either the Versalite or the Visp. I don't remember which one is the Enlightened Equipment brand. So I've had these for a few years now. Okay, so for my rain jacket, I pack it like this. This is the best way to pack a rain jacket. You just fold it up and then roll it. Keeps it into the hood. Keeps it nice and protected. This is the Arc'teryx Zeta. This jacket is Gore-Tex and it weighs 10 ounces. So that is pretty heavy compared to like if I would have gotten like this brand of rain jacket. If I would have gotten my rain jacket from Z-Packs or Enlightened Equipment, could have had a much lighter rain jacket. But I was really intimidated by the rain, and so I wanted to have a Gore-Tex rain jacket. And Arc'teryx is a brand that I love and that I trust, that their gear like really holds up and does well. So I carried this the whole trail. So then the rain gear would go at the top. Next, let's talk about my water filtering system, which was just the Sawyer Squeeze on a smart water bottle and extra bottles. So the whole trail I carried 2 1-liter smart water bottles. One was a dirty bottle and then one was a clean bottle. And I also, most of the trail also carried a bottle this size. And I would carry these on the outside, one on each side. So next is my shovel. I think I only dug like 2 or 3 holes the whole trail, which is amazing because the privy system is awesome on the Appalachian Trail. I had a really good experience with that, so I didn't have to use this very much. This trowel, only a couple ounces. And then I also carried a like selfie stick / tripod the whole trail, so that way I could like get different clips for these videos. 4.6 ounces. And I would put this on the outside of my pack. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. The other little thing I carried was this little fur baby. And then I had my AT tag, keychain that one of the running shops gave me, and then a thermometer that I carried. So, and this whole thing weighs 1.3 ounces. Oh, no, 1.7 ounces. And that just lived on my backpack. So like that. And the other part of my sleep system I guess I didn't go over was my sleep pad. I switched to a foam mat, and I had a foam mat sit pad as well. I would pack this on the top of my backpack. I really enjoyed sleeping on it. It definitely is not as comfortable as an inflatable sleeping mat, but still, this is what I used and it worked well. I wore this hat, you know, every day. And that kind of goes with my hiking clothes. I did actually finish the trail with camp shoes, and I only hiked with these the last 100 miles. Can't believe I added this the last 100 miles, but at the same time, I had just never tried these on, and then I was able to try them on, and I was like, oh yeah, I do want this exact pair. So 10 ounces. And these would go on the outside. Here's my Garmin. I started carrying it in my hip belt pocket because I never hike with it on because the battery dies really quickly when I was sending my footsteps. So I would only use it when I was at camp. to send my location to like my family to make sure I was safe. So this is 4.5 ounces. I think we made it to the end. These are all, yeah, we already, oh, well, almost. Last but not least, actually I'll talk about my shoes last. Second to last is my fanny pack. So I've been using a JanSport fanny pack since the PCT, which seems silly because they're kind of heavy, but I like the structure. And inside my fanny pack, I would carry lots of things. It was kind of felt like my Mary Poppins bag. I would always be pulling things out of here, especially snacks. But I have my glasses and my sunglasses in here right now. I actually would usually carry these in the front of my bag, but these got a little bit messed up. Like their shape is like a little bit wonky now. Like they don't fit me that well. Like I feel like they're loose and like they got bent. So they still work and I've been using them as my glasses, but I need a new pair. And then my sunglasses are this pair of like Sunski brand sunglasses that I got at REI. They're really cute, they worked really well. They got a little bit scratched by the end. And then I just keep them in this like solo, like soft pouch, and I would keep them on the outside of my pack. So I'll put them there now. But when I first got the Hyperlight backpack, the outside pouch was really tight. This is something I can talk about in another video. But my glasses got a little bit bent because the pocket was so tight. So back to my fanny pack. I carried my bug head net in here. I wore a watch so that I can go with my hiking gear. Like I said, the pepper spray and the whistle, Swiss Army knife, my journal that I ended with, which is a Right in the Rain brand journal, and then a pen, and then some hygiene things like tampons and tissues and hand sanitizer. So, I guess the other thing I have in here is this little tiny piece of flair, as Leffy calls it, but it's like a little pin, the Appalachian Trail pin. I was wearing it on the outside of my pack, but I put it inside when I was at the airport, so I'll put it back on now. It's so cute. Yeah, yay. So yeah, let's see how much this weighs with all this stuff in here. And the other thing, like I said, I would carry in here was snacks. So right now it's 12 ounces. That's pretty much everything that's gonna go in the backpack. So, that like that. And then the sleeping pad would go on top. I normally don't like keeping the sleeping pad on top because of the wind. It kind of acts like a kite, but this is the best place for it on this backpack, so I carry it like this. The last thing I will talk about is my shoes. I wore the Ultra Lone Peak 6s to finish the trail with the Superfeet Runners Adapt insoles. Inside them, those are not waterproof. The entire trail, I was wearing waterproof high tops by Ultras, either the Lone Peak Ultra high tops or the Olympus Ultra high tops. They were all waterproof. I had 3 different high tops throughout the trail, but I switched at the end because my feet, we were doing deep river crossings where you were guaranteed to get saturated feet. So the non-waterproof shoes dry out so much faster. So I hiked in these to end the trail. And woof, that was just so much. I'm so thankful for all my gear. It all held up really well. I definitely would have switched to not use, switched out my tarp to a tent for the states of New Hampshire and Maine, because that's when it really started getting buggy. And I also started using Leffy's tent. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with all of the gear that I ended with. I think it worked really well, and I think I was pretty prepared. Now that I mentioned that, I feel like I did need a bigger rain cover. Like I was saying, when it's full of food, my rain cover is not big enough. And I think that that's it. I mean, one other thing I could think of off the top of my head that I would change is my sleep shirt, because I sent my sleep shirt home, but I would have rather slept in that than my mid layer when it was really hot. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with everything I ended with. I got to slack pack up Katahdin, so not all of this actually went up to Katahdin. My backpack did, but everything I could leave behind, I did. So the purists out there might not like that. But I feel like I was, you know, pretty close to a purist in a lot of ways. But let's see how much this backpack weighs actually. Wow, that's pretty good. Let's see, it has to beep, otherwise it's not done. Like, right now it's jumping between it's around 12.5, I'd say. So, 12.5 pounds, that's pretty good. I mean, 12.5 pounds is pretty good. I'm really happy with that, especially because I added like 10 ounce sandals, and my backpack was heavier, and I don't know, there's a lot of luxury items in here. Like I said, super thankful for all my gear. I'm glad it all worked out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you got something out of this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, or if you want to see more in-depth gear reviews on specific items, let me know which ones. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!